So we are live here at PJ Whelihans, Newtown Square with Flyers great Brian Propp. So thanks for everybody coming out. We're going to have some trivia through the course of the hour. So stay alert for that because that could come quick. But we want to thank Dan and Matt for having us back again. This is our second live show. This Fans View is very happy to be partnering with PJ's, and we got a monster show coming in August. So you guys might want to pay attention to everybody's page on social media. But let's take care of a little bit of business. $3 specials, Modella. Anybody? I'll have one.
All day.
So, Sierra's behind the bar, so.
Yeah, all right. Good job.
If you guys can hear me out there in the big room, come on back. We got tons of raffles. We're giving away Brian Propp autographed jersey. Who wants to win it?
I do.
Alex Morgan autographed book. How about a break from the Spectrum signed by Lou Nolan?
Oh, yeah.
And again, the trivia questions are going to come fast. You're going to have to put your hand up and we'll recognize you. Brian's been gracious enough to sign some autographed pucks that we're going to give out. So without further ado, maybe, the Jay Bruce, yes. Jay Bruce autographed jersey. The one in the middle. $5 raffles. It'll be signed on Saturday at Carl's Cards. So come on up. You can buy raffle tickets, and you can win that baby. So any questions, see Sue. Sue and Lauren. Sue's waving raffle tickets. Hi, Sue. Hi, George. If you haven't gotten your free raffle tickets, come see Sue. She's back here in the corner by the door. Hold your hand up, Sue. There we go. Thank you. Thank you.
So just an FYI, we have people watching from Mexico, also down the shore. So we got somebody from Tennessee watching too.
So
How about Canada? How about Canada?
Saskatchewan, right?
Saskatchewan, yes.
There you go. There you go. So give us a little bit. Give us something. What don't we know about Brian Propp?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a lot going on with my life. Just a lot of people, so that they probably don't know that, but I had a massive stroke almost 4 years ago. So I couldn't talk for 3 months, and my right side and hand don't work. They still don't. But I've recovered pretty well for that. I still have aphasia, so if I get mixed up with what I'm speaking about, you'll know that that's from my stroke. But I've been with the Philadelphia Flyers ambassador for the last 4th year going into that. I go to every home game with Bernie Prawn and David Schultz, and we visit suites in the first period, and before games we visit with people. And we say hi, and I love that. Also, I work with Wolf Commercial Real Estate in Marlton and in Philadelphia the last 4.5 years. And I just started as the ambassador for bankrupt brain injury people. So I keep me busy, and a couple other partnerships that I have. It keeps me happy.
Very good. Very good. You look great.
Yes, I feel great. Yeah.
You look great.
We're getting a lot of comments that say you look awesome.
Yeah, that's good. That's nice.
So the 14th overall pick in 1979. How has it changed?
Well, now everybody goes to the draft and wait for it to get picked. At that time, I was working on the farm. I didn't even know I was got picked. And so, in Saskatchewan, I just was working on the farm, and I didn't hear about what happened. They had to call me and had a talk with them a couple years later, hours later, and thankfully the Philadelphia Flyers have picked me.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. So I see you played on a couple of really cool lines. So Leach, Clark, and Propp. How about that line?
Oh, that was awesome. At the start, I played with Bob Clark for 5 years, and I started with Reggie Leach and myself. And then after a few years, like half of the year, we went to Paul Holmgren and Ken Linsman, and Bill Barber kind of took over again. But for me, it was really good to play with Clarkie and Reggie because they were experienced and they knew how to score and win games. And, I remember my first year, I scored my first goal against Bill Smith and was a game winner. And we won the first game, and then the second game we lost 9-2, and then we went on a 35 undefeated streak, which is a record today.
You've had a few game winners.
Oh yeah. Well, I always love to score. I still love that to score. I mean, when I skate with my group guys in the morning and Wednesday and Friday mornings, I do a guffaw every time I score against them.
Very nice. Very nice. So let's talk about this '87 Canada Cup team. Some guy named Gretzky, some guy named Lemieux.
Yeah, that was pretty special at that time. In '87, we just finished losing the seventh game in Edmonton, and then that next month, like a couple months later, like I had the training camp, and there was a bunch of us that went to the training camp for Team Canada, and it was good to be to make the team. And I played with Gretzky and Lemieux most of the games. And then Keenan was the coach. And so I knew him from doing well in the playoffs the last couple of years. And, I was experienced at that time. I was the oldest player on the team at that time. But it was so good. It was a great series. It's known as one of the best series in Canada and U.S. And Russian history. 3 games, every score was 6-5, 6-5, and 6-5.
Very good. Nice.
So we do have a question from people watching online. Somebody wants to know, who is your closest Flyers friend?
So when I was with the Flyers, it was Mark Howe, but my closest friend was Brad McCrimmon. He played with Mark Howe. Unfortunately, he got in a plane crash almost 8 years ago. So I still miss him. Like, he was a great leader. But all of these guys that I played with in Philadelphia, they are really great leaders. And so I started with Bob Clark. I learned from him. My first couple of years, I didn't say hardly anything. It was tough for me to just talk. But after 5 years, when Clark left, Dave Poulin was there, and I learned how to win and be a better leader. And Mark Howe was awesome too.
All right.
You mentioned a couple of Hall of Famers
Yeah.
there. I got a little gripe with Toronto. Just a little gripe with Toronto.
What is it?
The Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Got a little gripe. I'm looking at these numbers. You belong there.
We all think so.
Oh, well, thank you.
I'm looking at games played, 1,016, 425 goals, 579 assists, 1,004 points. Where'd these 830 penalty minutes come from?
I was
You can't
chippy.
score in the penalty box.
I was like Bob Clark. I was chippy. So and then I had the tough guys to back me out. So they took care of business, and I yapped a little bit, and you got a couple of 10 minutes McConnell. But thank you for saying that. I know with the cards that I have on the back, I've got stats when I played hockey for the last 20 years, but I'm more proud of my playoff numbers, because my playoff numbers are pretty outstanding, because because I'm number 1 in the history of the game for left wingers.
Very cool.
Nice.
How about the WHL? You want to go down that road a little bit? You want to talk about the WHL?
Yeah, sure. The Western Hockey League I played there 3 years with Brad McCrimmon and Ray Allison, and I still say Ray all the time. He lives in Cherry Hill. Brad McCrimmon, and we played together for 3 years, and then we both got drafted in '79. And so, but it was a powerful line that we had. At that time, Brandon was a powerful team. I remember my first 3 years, I only lost 12 games. My second year, I only lost 8 games, and my final season, I only lost 5 times out of 72 games. So that's pretty powerful. At that time, it was a 20-year-old draft. So like the guys were mature, and then it changed. It got NHL just merged, and so there was just one league at that time.
So it was some pretty good time there with the WHL.
Oh yeah, well we had a lot of fun, and well when you win that much, it makes it more fun. But again, having a great leader like Brad McCrimmon made a big difference. Like he knew how to have all the rookies and talk with them, have a couple of beer with them, and to make sure that they were doing the right things and just living by example. But to win, it's tough. You always have to play your best as you can and try as hard as you can and be honest and just give it your best.
That's good advice. So we have another question from online. Somebody wants to know what your most memorable fight was.
Oh God, I didn't have too many, but it was against Dennis Savell. Okay. He was a little chippy and yappy, and so it wasn't that much. I only had 5 fights, but I was protected all the time. But they didn't last that long. They just 2 shots, me hitting them and him falling down.
So moving on, we've got Jack Broder in the house.
Yeah, all right, Jack.
By the way, I wanted to correct you. Said you had 10 fights, 10 career fights.
Well, I don't know that.
Oh, but that's for whole career, not just. It's all Jack.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Well, he'll know better than me.
So we've got some of Jack's personal memorabilia up here. A game-worn Brian Propp jersey. We've got a game-worn Minnesota jersey, and we've got a Flyers jacket. This is all part of Jack Broder's personal collection, who by all accounts, I believe could be the #1
Brian Propp did.
fan.
Yeah,
I
don't know. I mean, I see a post once a week on buying Propp items.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, he does a good job. I know him, and he's got a great collection of I can't believe all the things that he has. But I give him some pucks every once in a while, and and he has the jerseys, and I'll maybe give him a couple other things after the show.
Very cool. Very cool.
Thanks for bringing this stuff, Jack. We appreciate it.
Jack, thank you. And you've been eliminated from the trivia questions, so you have don't even bother putting an arm up.
And from what we hear, it's like your first time.
Like get him an order of fries.
Yeah. Great.
So somebody wants to know what your favorite Philly restaurant is.
Oh.
Do you have one?
Oh, I think that. Well, I like in Philadelphia. I like the Capitol Grill. It has a great atmosphere right on Broad Street in Center Hall. But at the Union League, they've got a great restaurant at the Union League.
Union League's good.
Yeah, that's really good too. So, but I love pasta and salad. So, I could eat pasta every day.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah, that's good. I love it.
I think our GM right over here is just loading up right now.
Oh yeah. Oh good. Yeah.
So Anybody in the Four Seasons room, any questions for Brian? Anything? Raise your hand. We can get a mic to you. If you have any questions, feel free. We'd be happy to have Brian
walking around. We have.
Brian, how are you?
All right.
You and the pool were a great short-handed combo, team together. How many goals did you guys have together, and what was it like playing with Dave Poole?
Well, at that time he just came from Sweden when he was, then he went to the Flyers at the end of the year, I think in '82 or '83, and so he was really good because he wasn't drafted, and so like he went to college first, and he was very smart, and but I love the way that he skated, and we worked really well together. Well, it was nice to have Hextall there too for the shooting the puck. But we learned from each other. We leaned the play, and we forced the people to dump the puck in, and so that helped us because Mark Howe, he could shoot it out, and then so they didn't have a chance to set it up, and so we forced really fast, and that's why we were successful. And of course, by playing more aggressive, we got more chances for shorthanded. And I always wanted to score, and what a better way to take the game off is by score shorthanded. But yeah, I think in my career I had 21 shorthanded goals. I'm not sure what Poulin has. He had a lot of empty net goals though, but I don't know about that. So.
All right.
Yeah, because out of my 25 goals, I only had 4 that were out and empty netters. So like that, but I was always a good plus player. So I ended my career the 10th in history of forwards at plus 321, 20 through the 310. So that's proud of that too. The plus player. Yeah.
So we got a few of these biscuits that we want to get autographed and give away. So pay attention. We got some trivia questions. Raise your arm, hand, legs, your beer.
So should we go with the easy one first?
Okay.
All right. So we'll go with the easy one. What years did Brian Propp play for the Flyers? Beginning to end. Anybody?
Oh. You are correct.
That is correct, yes.
I didn't have it on.
Talk about going from the Whelihans inside on the street team.
What's that?
Talk about going from the Whelihans to the street team of 79.
Oh, okay, good. I'm just going to sign this for this guy.
So we got a winner at the bar, and his name is David.
All right, David. Thank you.
You can come on up after the show and claim your pup. All right.
Yeah. So Scoop in Brandon Weekends, like we finished the year where we were undefeated for 49 games, and then after junior I went to the Flyers, and then as I said, the first game we won against the Islanders, and then we lost the second game in Atlanta, and then we had went to 35 and undefeated streak. But it was a great team of players. We had 4 lines. Everybody knew what they had to do, and we had a new rookie. Pete Peters was the goalie, and Phil Mira was the other goalie. And so it's pretty amazing. And I remember that as a rookie, I started to notice after 20 games, like it was at the start of the year, a lot of people were paying attention with us because everyone wanted to beat the streak. And then so when we went into 28 games and in Boston and won, I mean, that was huge. And then we kept going. We said as a team, we never want to lose 2 in a row. So that's always getting ready for the next one. Yeah, so Pat Quinn was a great coach. I loved him. He was very good with numbers and with plays and things. He had a whole book of plays, and of course, Kenny Linsman, he didn't pay attention, so we had to do the drills all the time, twice.
Right.
Because they had him, he didn't pay attention, so it was kind of frustrating. But he was patient, and I love Pat. He was a great coach.
The interesting thing about that team was it was really a transition. The Stanley Cup team, that was the end of the guys like near the end of Reggie and Hawk and Clarky. There was you and there was the 3Bs and there was the Matt.
Yeah.
They all came in that.
Yeah, so it was at that time like a couple of guys who had been there for like 10 years and they were kind of getting a little older, and then we had the new group like with Linsman and Ben Wilson and Paul Holmgren and Pete but it was really good for the team, like a good mixture, but it all comes down to leadership. You had Bob Clark as the greatest leader in the hockey, and I learned from him. But I played in junior in Western Hockey League where Clarkie played in Flin Flon. So they learned how to work hard and practice even harder. So like I think like today, like the guys practice and they do more weights and but I'm not sure they're as strong as we were physically. Physically we can, but mentally we ended up being pretty tough to play against, and especially the old Spectrum. Everyone hated to play against the old Spectrum. It's kind of changed now, and all the teams and the arenas are all the same, and so like no one really has an advantage anymore. Yeah.
So let's clarify a couple things on the trivia because we're getting beat up on Facebook. They want to participate, but gotta lay the groundwork. It's an in-house party for the trivia. So.
Oh yeah, all right, yeah.
So I'm calling you guys out. So let's go. Let's get your arms in the air, okay?
Do another one?
What do you got?
We'll do another one. All right.
Red flag.
Okay. Where was Brian Propp born?
1 second.
We got.
That's okay. Go ahead.
So, when you get a chance, what was your memories of
Pelle Lindbergh, he came and he was at the minor league team for a couple of years, and then he moved to the Flyers. And at that time, it was nice for him because he was a little younger, and then he needed the time to mature. Sort of like Hart now, like he brought him along pretty good, but you know that he's going to be good. But Pelle was just getting to the top of his time, and of course Bernie Braun had a lot to deal with that because like they kind of copied each other. He was very quick. He was in position all the time, and he didn't get out of position too often. But he was quiet. He was from Sweden, and so like they hunted a couple of Swedes at that time. So yeah, he was really quiet, but it was kind of nice for me because I always liked to score on goalies in playoffs in practice, and so I drove him nuts, just like I drew Hextall nuts. Like every time that I shoot a puck, I go for the rebound, and even if it's not in there, and so like I put the puck in the net all the time, and they hated that. But it was good for me just because he was a good team player, and at that time he was getting to be one of the best in the league. He just won the Vezina the week before. But having a guy like Mark Howland and Brad McCrimmon made a big difference, defensively. But yeah, he was a great player, a good guy to know in the room.
All right. So the next trivia question: where was Brian Propp born?
Saskatchewan.
What town?
Come on. It's in Canada too.
Flanagan.
There you go. That is correct.
Right, you got to split the pump.
Yeah.
Because he gave you the answer.
Well, that's Matt's parents. We'll let him go.
They're still only getting one pump.
Yeah. So I grew up in a small town. It's Lanigan. I never lived there. But the hospital was there. So that's where I was born. My dad is a Lutheran minister, and his congregation was in Jansen at the start. And then, which is like a small little town of 200 people. And then I was there when I was 4 years old. We moved to Newdorf, which is next to Malville. So I tell people, when I played for the Malville Millionaires, I was a millionaire once.
So we have a question. What team did you hate to face?
I hated playing in Buffalo, but my favorite team was to play against was Montreal and Chicago, because I love the atmosphere. And New York Rangers, Madison Square Garden is another town, but I hated Buffalo because nothing to do, and I hated playing against them. Yeah.
Okay.
We got a damn Rangers fan in the house.
Yeah.
I don't know how this happens again, but. Another trivia question?
Sure, we can do another trivia question. Oh. All right, so Brian holds the record for most career assists by a left winger. How many assists did he have? It's a pretty big number.
I have no idea.
Here we go.
We go right over here.
We got 80.
Close. Close.
Hey, you raised your hand like you had the answer.
Anybody?
I think Jack fed him the.
94? You got it.
Are you back there feeding answers? All right, we got another winner.
All right.
So, going back to the game a little bit, there's a lot of rituals. Like guys prepare differently. How did you prepare? And did you have any special food, a meal that you ate prior to a game?
Well, at practice, you usually go to practice at 10:30 or 11 in the morning, and for a 7 o'clock game. And so you'll do a little warm up at 11. You'll have a meal at 12:30 or 1. And at that time, we didn't know what we wanted to eat, but when I was young, I had steak, and I had chicken, I had pasta, and I had salad and soup, and so as you got a little older, now I just had a salad and maybe a little chicken or pasta, but I didn't eat that much because you wanted to save it for the energy for later. And then after the games, we had some food. Like we used to go to Kaminsky's all the time. They always had food for us, which was nice. And you kind of get in that ritual. But for me, it didn't really matter to me because I always stayed the same weight, and I'm still 188 right now. And but I eat a lot, but I don't put on much weight. But I kind of watch what I eat now, and I don't drink soda. I just have water. That's all I have. And every once in a while I'll have Virgin Bloody Mary for spicy, a little spicy. But other than that, like water is so good for you. All these people drink Coke and everything. That's not good for you. There's too much. As far as the fitness, when I was first couple of years in the league, nobody told us what we had to eat. But then Pat Kraysher came on the team in 1982. And so from that time on, I learned how to eat a little better, work out a little bit more, and he made a big difference for me because at that time I didn't have a workout facility, and so I learned from him. So that probably added me another 5 years to my career, having Pat Croce helping with all that. So I still talk with him once in a while.
He's still down in where? Key West, right?
Yeah, Key West and Ocean City. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he was a name that a lot of people looked up to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Trainer, and later, card owner.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Scoop.
Yeah, Rob, talk about being prime athlete, having the stroke, and then coming back and being able to play the alumni game and then recover.
Okay.
So hang on one sec. So I noticed in all of your information you took to skating as part of your rehab. You put the skates right back on.
Yeah, well, it was good because after my stroke, I didn't have my both feet worked well, and so I don't have a balance problem, and so just my right fingers and the right side don't work that well, but I compensate for that. I can still skate faster than these guys, and I can score once in a while, but I can't shoot a wrist shot. That's too tough, but I can still score them. Yeah, so it all helps the brain of remembering what your brain does and how it doesn't. And I play a lot of golf. I can't hit the ball that far anymore, but I can usually hit it pretty straight. I have a lot of fun with it, and other than that, I can't tie a tie. I can't tie my shoelaces. I can't button a shirt. I can't throw a football, baseball, or anything like that. So other than that, I hide it pretty well. Most people wouldn't even know I had a stroke because my speech has come back. Because at the start, I couldn't talk for 3 months. The only thing I said was and Bernie Propp. So with my speech therapist and occupational therapist and physical therapist, it took me a year and a half. My speech therapist took me the longest because I had to relearn how to talk. And I've done a couple things that have really helped me. I did a stem cell treatment through the NHL program a couple of years ago, and I immediately noticed a big difference with you take the cell out of your hip and separate the blood, and then take the cells from the cell and then put it back in your body. So I noticed immediately a big difference with my speech. But I'm out almost every night, and I do a lot of things, do a lot of events, and so I talk with other people, and I'm more comfortable than a lot of people that have strokes are. But I'm lucky that my balance works so that I can still skate and play hockey. If I didn't do that, I don't know what I would have done. Just like I don't know if my family wasn't there when it happened, I might not be here anymore. So, but
I do believe we have a question from Jack.
So, Brian, what was your most memorable game you played in as a Flyer?
well, there were a lot, but I think Game 6 in the finals against Edmonton, where we tied the game. It was we were losing 2-1, and I scored to tie it up at 2-2 with 6 minutes left in the third period, and then 3 minutes later, with JJ Gagner scored. So I'll never forget how loud the Spectrum was. And at that time, there was a concert in the Phillies. I think it was Genesis or something like that. So it was even louder at the concert than it was at the Spectrum. But the people were last 10 minutes of the third period were scary and yelling, and it was an awesome feeling. But yeah, it was nice just because we battled back from Edmonton. We were down 3-1, and then we forced a game 7. And at that time, it was 26 games that we played that year, and Edmonton kind of whizzed through. But you look at their team, there was probably about 5 or 6 Hall of Fame in their prime at that time. So, we can't complain about, but all I know is that Philadelphia, they loved how we worked and stuck as a team, and unfortunately we didn't win.
So we got a little house cleaning to do. If anybody's new that has joined us, raffle tickets for the giveaways. We've also got a raffle item for a Jay Bruce autograph jersey that are $5.
We have Modelo.
We've got $3 specials from Modelo. I still didn't get mine. Just kidding. Just kidding. Sierra doing a fine job, so take care of her. And out in the big restaurant, come on back. We got plenty of room, so join us.
And we'll be here for about another 15, 20 minutes.
We got
Another
a
question.
Brian, what's the origins of the fall?
All right, so the Guffaw got started from Howie Mandel when he did his shows in Atlantic City in the 80s, and I went to a couple shows in the 80s, and so I saw him in a concert with a friend of mine, Scott McKay, and so he was doing his little schnock, and so I tried to copy him, or I copied him after the end of the year. And so I was in probably 80s, mid-80s. So guffaw means a hearty laughter. It's in the English dictionary, Guffaw. So a lot of people read books, know what the guffaw is, and there's the ways that they can show that. But for me, it was at that time, I was starting to score a little bit more. Well, I always scored, but just I wanted to do something a little more personality. So like Tim Kerr, he scored all those goals, and he just no problem. But I wanted to do something a little more exciting. So I got from Howie Mandel the guffaw. I went to center ice, and I did the guffaw. And at the start, Keenan said to me, "What are you doing? Don't ever do that again." And I was like, "Oh, geez, just." But I didn't listen to him, and I scored again, and I kept doing it, and so it was a good thing for me. Just branding, you brand yourself a little bit differently, yeah. So, and when I teach all the young kids, like when I retired from the Flyers, I was at the Medford Ice Rink for 3 years. And I taught all the young kids how to skate and score, and I tell them to do the guffaw. Just when they get good grades, you get A's for the class. I told the teachers to always give them a guffaw, and so it started from there, and it's still there today. And if you play golf with me, you get birdies and eagles. You're going to do a guffaw with a team, and a double if you do an eagle shot. Yeah.
So we got a birthday in the house, and we're all going to guffaw her when we sing happy birthday. So hang out. What time are we doing that?
7:25.
7:25. We're singing happy birthday and guffawing somebody.
And she probably hates you right now.
It's all good. It's all good. So we got some more trivia.
So yeah, we got another trivia question. So, Brian holds the franchise record for the most game-winning goals in a single season. How many goals?
Come on, this one's easy.
Game winner? Game winner? Yeah.
We got a 10 back here.
Nope. We have a winner over here.
Wait, did he use his phone?
Probably did.
The stinking Ranger fan uses his phone and still has the wrong answer. Huh?
Oh, God.
Good thing my mic went out. So we got a winner?
What was the answer?
12. The answer was 12.
Wait, there was a 12, right?
It was him.
You're the only one who had the right answer.
I don't have any Ranger cups.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with the Flyers cup?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there
All
you
right.
go.
It's all you.
All right.
How about another trivia question?
Sure.
All right. So, Brian also holds a franchise record for shots on goal in one playoff year. What's the number? It's a pretty big number.
How big?
Without using your phone.
In the playoffs, right?
Yes.
So-
in a playoff year.
So there was
So it's one.
26 games that I played, maybe? Yeah.
Yes, it's definitely triple digits. Not that high.
We probably won after that happened.
Anybody?
25?
No, higher.
76?
No, higher.
You're
Just guess at this
a little
point.
lower. Closer.
It's a three-digit number.
It's a three-digit number.
So that means you have to be in the hundreds or 200 or 300.
Jack, can you Jack Croder, can you help somebody out?
We got 104 right over here. Right over here, 104.
Yeah. All right. That's good. Yeah.
Not bad after 10 guesses.
Yeah, that's all right. You keep going until you win. Yeah, so the playoffs were always special. Like when I first came to the Flyers, I made the playoffs every year, and then I was with Boston and Minnesota. So like I was in 13 years straight in the playoffs, and then the last year, 1 year I was hurt in the playoffs, and then after that I missed the playoffs in Hartford. But to finish with Hartford, and then I played another year in France. After I retired, I played a year in France, which was really, really fun for me because I didn't have any children at that time, and so it was fun to vacation or just not play a couple times a year, have a car, where there's a place to stay, and it was where it was. It's in Biarritz, Anglet. It's right near the Spanish border, like San Sebastian, right on the Atlantic Ocean. Near Bordeaux. So if you go to Paris, it would be a 10-hour drive from where I played hockey, like right on the coast. But that was fun for me. The people loved me because I had a name, and we had a good time, and it was just wonderful. And then I came. After that, we built a Medford ice rink in Medford, New Jersey. I did that for 3 years. And then I got the job with the Flyers as their announcer for 9 more years with Tim Saunders. And then I worked to the judge group in Conshohocken at King of Prussia and for 5 years. And now I'm with Wolf Commercial Real Estate for the last 4.5 years. 4 which are going to be the Flyers as their ambassador, and with Bancroft, brain injury. So I got a lot of things going on, and but it's good to stay busy.
Have you always worn number 26?
When I was the Flyers, yes, but some said that I think that they had a number 14 when I was in minor hockey. No, with the Phantoms. But I always wore a number 26. And then when I was in Boston, I wore 36, and then was in Minnesota, I lost 16, and in Hartford, I finished with 26, but I also had 15. In Hartford, they used the same jerseys from the year before, because that's where they were so cheap, Like they had the patches of the 25-year packs on the, and so like you could see the patch taken off, and so like I could have worn 26, but they didn't have the number available that early, and so like I had to wear 15. So, but yeah, it was kind of crazy, but you know they were trying to save some money, I guess. Yeah.
So what current player would you like to play with?
Oh, I'd love to play with Hart. I mean, because he does such a good job. And there's a couple of I like Coots because he's a really good leader, and you know he's come a long way after he just started. But yeah, you know he's very smart. Yeah, I'd like to. He reminds me of Clark. You know, like where he'll get me the puck and then to the slot. And I'll go, but shoot from there. But I always stay in front of the net. I always stayed in front of the net, and power plays, and you know, the type of player I was is that I always went in front of the net and got in the rebounds.
So we have a very special guest watching from Canada.
Oh yeah, who's that?
The rifle, Reggie Leach.
Oh, Reggie, yeah, Reggie, how you doing? Hey, he just got a huge award for the Canada for his work for charities, and so I tell Reggie, I say congratulations to him. He was at our Flyers alumni last week at DuPont Country Club, and he was there, and so I had a chance to talk with him. But I love Reggie. He's such a great guy.
Yeah, well,
That's awesome.
Reggie, thanks for tuning in. So there you go. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, our alumni does a lot because I'm on the board of the Flyers alumni with Brad Marsh and Paul Holmgren and Danny Briere, Bob Kelly, and Fridge, and Don Selesky. So like we do a lot of things for charities. We just had our charity golf at DuPont last week, and so we did the fight night, which was a couple months ago, where you had the fighters that were there, and so we keep very active with Flyers alumni. We raise a lot of money for the charities, and like we're going to support with Ed Snyder Foundation. We promised them like $2 million. For their new rink, the class of 23 rink. So we've done a couple hockey games there, and that's all been really good. But Scoop, as you remember, with me coming out of a stroke, I can't shoot the puck that well, but I can skate, and I love being part of what our Flyers alumni do, and I do whatever I can. If I have to score, I'll hit my head and bounce in, but always there.
So we have, give me 1 minute. So Scoop Cooper is in the house, 50 years in hockey.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's done just about everything. So if you guys want to hit him up after the show, he's sitting up here in this awesome Richmond Robins jersey, jacket.
45 years ago.
Wait, analytics are not new to Scoop. So analytics and statistics are his thing. So introduce yourself. The man's got a lot of knowledge about hockey. So he's been at our show at the store, and he's been here. He was here last month with Lou.
Yeah, we'll have him back again.
He's back again, and so thank you so much for contributing.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to ask Robert, this is something I'm certainly familiar with. The Flyers as an organization has always been a family. No matter where you go, after you play here, you always come back. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I started with the Flyers in 1979, and I played 11 years with them. So that was great for me. And then I got traded to Boston at the end of the year. And we went to the finals that year because Poulin was there, and then I was a free agent, and then so Bob Clark got fired in '90, and then he brought me to Minnesota for 3 years, and then so I knew Bob Clark, and so I signed there for 3 years, and then I was a free agent. So Paul Holmgren had a part with me becoming a free agent and signing with Hartford. And then I retired at France. But the Flyers organization is unbelievable. It's a little different with Ed Snyder not being there anymore and Comcast running the team a little different. But all the Flyers alumni that are working here today and for after, like, they want to keep coming back. Now a lot of the players have homes in Haddonfield because they make more money. But other than that, it's good to have all these guys that are there. And I've known all the guys for the last 40 years, and I stay connected with most of them. I have all their cell numbers, emails, where they work, if they change. I'm kind of the central place for that. Philadelphia is such a great city. Like, you have the shore, you've got Delaware, you've got Philadelphia, and the whole thing. So it's really good for how we stay connected, and our alumni is very strong.
So we got a question here in front.
Thank you again for coming. Did you ever used to go to the other major sports in Philly? So you have like Philly, Sixers, Eagles, Twitter games?
Yeah, I did. I used to go for the Phillies. Basketball, I didn't, because I didn't really understand the game, and so like all the other major sports, like I was there, and I know all the guys at the Phillies and the Eagles because in the 80s, I know a lot of the guys, the Eagles that are playing because we play golf together, and they have a nice, strong alumni there too. And the Phillies, I know the guy that's there is John Brazier. He's been there for 26 years, and so he's been helping me. But me being there, I love all the sports in the other cities, or the same city in Philadelphia, and I always cheered for them and with some of the best.
All right. So we've got a birthday in the house, and if we could get her to stand up. Come on, don't be bashful, Mom. Don't be bashful. Come on. The candles are being lit, and we're going to kafal you and sing happy birthday.
Yeah. There's a lot of candles.
That doesn't sound good, does it?
Yeah.
Wait, Brian Propp said it's okay.
Yeah.
Ready?
All right, let's
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dolly. Happy birthday to you and many more. Goodbye!
You've been kafaled.
Yeah.
All right,
So we got one more trivia question.
It's a pretty easy one. After leaving the Flyers, who was the next team Propp played for? There we go, right there.
Say it out loud.
Yeah, all right.
There you go.
Good job. Yeah, all right.
So we're winding down, and I know hockey. I'm very passionate about the sport, but to be able to bring this man, to the show, to the restaurant, and enjoy the fast hour with you,
Yeah, it was
phenomenal.
pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, if anybody wants, my website is brianpropp.com, and all the cards, I've got Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So if anybody wants to follow me or post pictures, they can follow me. But I do a lot with the Flyers alumni, every home game, and plus just from being here for the last 40 years, I know a lot of people. But I love Carl and his family. They've had me a couple times at the shore and but I appreciate being here and being here for Facebook Live. Yeah.
So we need to, again, I want to thank Sierra, I want to thank Matt, I want to thank Dan, I want to thank the entire staff for hosting this.
Yeah.
And, hopefully everybody had a good time. You've got your raffle tickets. We are going to pull some winners.
We're gonna do that now?
You're going to do it after
We're
the
gonna do it
show.
after the show.
We're going to do it after the boss, the producer, just gave me that. We're going to do it after the show. So, any more questions for Brian? Anything?
Any questions? Oh, Brandon's got another one.
In your opinion, greatest player to ever play the game?
What was that?
Greatest player to ever play the game?
Well, it's tough because there's so many good ones, but I broke in with Gretzky for my first 15 years, and then he played a couple of more years after that. And Lemieux was there. I got a chance to play against Gordie Howe. He was 51, and in his 32nd year in the league. So I got to play against him, and it was nice for me because I played in the All-Star game with my rookie year when his final year. That was in Detroit, and so that was pretty amazing. Like the clap that he got for 10 minutes, 15 minutes was unbelievable. And so, I was fortunate to play 5 All-Star games and a couple other things. And but I just love the game of hockey and meeting all the right people. My friends are still with me, and I connect with a lot of them. And so that's what it's all about having good friends and just doing the best thing that you can and helping all the charities.
Any elbows from Gordie? Gordie ever hit you?
No, he stayed away from me because we had the tough guy team too. So I kind of stayed away from him. Yeah.
He was pretty tough.
Oh yeah, that was if he hated you, he would cut you.
So we are winding down, and our next show will be Wednesday.
Next week.
Well, back here.
We're back here?
Back here.
So it's gonna be August
7th.
All right. August 7th, we'll be here live.
Do we want to tell them the guests? No.
That's up to you.
We're gonna hold them.
that.
I just got the
other producer.
The sprinkle there, everywhere. So it's going to be a good one. I don't know that it's going to top this man right here. This was a great show.
Absolutely.
The man is just full of hockey, upside down, inside out. I think he can still play. Stroke or no stroke, I think he can still get after it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Any last questions before we call it a night?
No.
We are going to sign off. Any last words for the people?
Well, thanks for PJ Whelihans to have me there, and Carl's cards because just by being here, and if anybody wants to buy a Propp jersey, I'm sure Carl has them. So it helps. But yeah, he gives a lot. He does a lot. I see his posts all the time, and so I'm connected with him, and so that's the way you need. You need the right people, because it's a business and it's tough, but he does a great job of giving back.
Well, thank you, and thank all of you, and we'll see you August 7th.
August 7th. All right.